Hey class, how are you today? I am missing you all and I'm ready to pick up with our soft drain read aloud. We are on the chapter A New Leader. Remember, they decided to stay in the barn because it was the first bit of rest that they had had in a long time. A New Leader. A small distance away, Aunt Key stood watching and sobbing. Soft Rain whispered to her father, "Did you know Green Fern died?" "No!" he screamed, hurrying to Aunt Key's side. Holding tightly to each other, Mother and Soft Rain followed. At first, no one spoke. Then Aunt Key asked, "Did you see Swimming Bear?" Father sadly shook his head. Mother and Soft Rain each took a deep breath, looked at one another, and at the same time asked, "Where is Hawk Boy?" Oh no, I didn't even realize Hawk Boy wasn't with them. Before answering, Father wiped tears from his eyes. "Some days he rides with me, but today he's in one of the last wagons. Come with me, Soft Rain. Let's go together to get him. He'll be so excited." Father handed Mother a small bundle. "Fresh deer meat," he said. Mother handed him his tobacco pouch. He smiled, then lifted Soft Rain onto the horse and mounted behind her. From so high, she could see wagons and people far away. As they rode, Father stopped often to instruct people and to answer their many questions. In astonishment, Soft Rain asked, "Are you one of the leaders?" "Yes, I began helping somewhere along the trail after two leaders died. It's a great responsibility, finding food for hundreds, deciding where to camp, and helping repair the wagons." Soft Rain thought about the wagons she had helped push and the broken ones she had seen left beside the road. "One of our wagons broke down and couldn't be repaired," she said. "My group started with 60 wagons, enough animals to pull them," Father told her. There was space for all of the old, the sick, and the small children to ride, but several of the animals were stolen, and 8 wagons have broken down. Some of the old and sick already have to walk, and soon there will be more deaths, more people to bury. Her father's quivering voice reminded Soft Rain of how concerned the young chief had been for the people in the group. Father is also a good leader, she thought. Then she saw the back of a young boy standing up in a wagon. Could it be her young brother? No, this boy was too skinny. But when he turned around, their dark eyes met and Hawk Boy jumped up and down, shouting, "I knew we would find you! I knew we would find you!" When Father lifted Soft Rain off the horse into the wagon, Hawk Boy threw his arms around his sister's neck until she yelped, "Where is Mother? Is she?" Hawk Boy choked back tears. What do you think he was thinking? He was thinking maybe she had died. "She and Aunt Key are both in the barn. We've been sleeping there." Soft Rain, fearful of hearing bad news, had not yet asked about grandmother. But she needed to know. Did you see grandmother? What has happened to her? Where is she?" "She is living in town with a white family, the store owners, who were always kind to us," Father answered, reaching inside his coat. "Hawk Boy found this under the bed. Grandmother wrapped it and said to be sure to give it to you." He handed a package to Soft Rain. "You found my doll, grandmother's doll." She squeezed Hawk Boy until he yelped. "And Pet? Where will Pet stay?" Soft Rain asked anxiously. "With grandmother, of course," Hawk Boy explained. "Now, can't we go to Mother?" Father lifted Soft Rain back on the horse as Hawk Boy quickly mounted behind him. While they rode back, Soft Rain leaned contentedly against Father and listened to Hawk Boy's continuous chatter. He only stopped when he slid off the horse into Mother's arms. They cried joyful tears. Soft Rain's mouth watered when she smelled the soup Aunt Key was stirring. "We haven't tasted fresh meat since the rains fell, and very little before that." Aunt Key grumbled, tasting the soup. "Too many people traveling the same trail have made the hunting difficult," Father told her. Later in the day, after their stomachs were full, Soft Rain stared at Hawk Boy. "You are wearing pants from the white man. You're taller and not so fat," she said. You are taller too and skinny. You need a new dress, he said, poking his finger through a hole in her skirt. Soft Rain frowned at her torn dress and the red mud stains that hadn't washed off. Gently touching her bare arm, Father said, in the last town we bought new clothes, and yesterday, along the trail, someone handed me a coat that's about your size. Soft Rain tried on the white man's clothing. It felt stiff against her skin and smelt strange, but the flowered cloth dress was clean and the coat was warm. Handing Pet's rope to Hot Boy, she said, to hold your pants up. Carefully, she put Grandmother's doll in her pouch. Feels better, Hot Boy said. And you look better, Soft Rain. Now show me some words. Her little brother hadn't forgot about learning to read. He'd been looking forward to that with going to school before school was closed. Hawk Boy, Soft Rain said as she wrote his name, and then her own in the wet earth. Pointing to her name, she said, Soft Rain. But Hawk Boy was asleep. Father carried him inside, and Mother covered him with a blanket. I'm so glad they're all back together as a family again. That makes me feel so much better. And at least we know Grandmother's safe with a nice white family. That's what the book said. Early in the morning, when they started back on the trail, the ground was white with frost. Hawk Boy and Soft Rain took turns walking beside Mother and riding with Father. When they crossed icy waters, they sat together on Father's horse. The ground had frozen, and Soft Rain decided she liked riding better than walking. Sinking into the muddy tracks had been difficult, but so was walking over the frozen ruts. That evening, Father rubbed her sore feet. We have no small shoes or boots, he told her. Some people don't even have moccasins, Soft Rain said, recalling the young mother. Soft Rain was riding one day when she saw something she had never seen before. A piece of white cloth on a tall pole. What does it mean, Father? She asked. An important chief has died, he told her. He has been buried here. They passed the grave slowly. The white cloth flew strongly in the wind, and Soft Rain imagined that he must have been a good, strong chief. She wondered if he'd been old. It seemed that more old people were dying every day. Babies and children, too. Every morning, Father helped dig into the hard earth to bury the dead. Many days later, they came to a wide river. White people in decorated carriages were waiting to cross. Snow and sleet fell during the 2 days it took to ferry the real people across. When Soft Rain saw Father give the boatman money, she asked, Why do we have to pay? The man earns his living ferrying people across the river. This man did not overcharge us as others have, Father answered. Soft Rain wondered how many rivers they had crossed since their journey began, and mountains. She could not remember. The steep mountains were behind them, but the land was still hilly. Walking was rough and she was cold. The ferocious wind whipped the snow around. On the coldest days, Hawk Boy rode in a wagon, though he complained about the jarring, the noise, and the dying people. After the burials the next morning, Father and most of the men left the trail to hunt. We'll be back in a few days after we find game, Father said. We all need fresh meat. 3 days later, the men returned with only some rabbit and turkeys. We saw a deer, but the farmer drove us off his land, afraid we would steal his animals, Father said. The meat didn't last long. I'm counting the days of misery, Aunt Key said the morning the last morsel of meat was eaten. That word morsel means small bit. You might have seen it on like chocolate morsels, the little chocolate chips. Soft Rain did not ask her how many days they had already walked. She couldn't even remember how long they had been traveling since Father's arrival. She did know that the mornings were the most difficult. There is so little wood for coffins. The old ones become more and more frail, and the wagons are filled with sick and dying. Father complained. No one wants to spend another day walking the trail. But what are we to do? I must keep urging the people to continue. Soft Rain had never seen her father so discouraged. She wished that she could help ease his pain, but she had no words to help. She watched as he rode off to hunt. Would it be another day of disappointment? The day Hawk Boy refused to ride in the wagon. That day, Hawk Boy refused to ride in the wagon. It's horrible. smelly, noisy, and people die, he cried. Walk with Soft Rain under her blanket, Mother said. Hawk Boy ducked under the blanket and Soft Rain put her arms around him. He's very quiet, she thought. He must be tired. She knew she was. She remembered her father's words, "What are we to do?" Suddenly she realized that quiet was all around them. No more rumbles or moaning. Look, Soft Rain, the line has stopped. Let's go see why, Hawk Boy said, throwing off the blanket and running ahead. What do you think is going to be ahead? Why have they stopped? Is it going to be a good thing, a bad thing? What do you think could be the next part of the story? I look forward to reading the next chapter with you guys. Bye.